Steinlage from GameZone.com, continuing with the GameZone First Impression series. What a better way to continue things off with Modern Warfare 3, Activision's 2011 juggernaut. As you know, the game is enormous, huge, highly anticipated, not only of 2011, but ever. We found out today that the game shattered the pre-order record that was once around the 8 million mark. Well, today we found out that it's exceeded 9 million copies pre-ordered, and that's just a crazy amount. And so far the game has been well-rounded, highly critiqued. Reviewers have been loving it, raving about it, and though there have been some low Metacritic scores by the users, most all the fans are happy with it. So we're going to check it out here, dissect it out by its little single-player, multiplayer, and we're going to get into some Call of Duty Elite. So let's kick things off with the single-player. As you know, the Call of Duty games have been widely known for their single-player much before the multiplayer, as you date back to Call of Duty 2, and Call of Duty 3. But one thing that I really like about the single players is that they take you, or at least with the last single player, Modern Warfare 2, it took you into your own backyard, took you into American soil. And we saw what that can do with a game like Homefront, where it really brings a fantastic story, and it really gives you that feel that you're in a modern war, and that you're really taking it to your backyard. Well, Modern Warfare 3 takes that a step farther, and not only brings it into your backyard, but brings it into landscapes that you know all around the world. Whether that be Eiffel Tower, the streets of London, New York City, you know these places, and it makes you really feel like you are a part of the action, that this is really a world war that you are a part of. It's a fantastic storyline. As you kick it off, you meet characters that have been in the game, and the wonderful thing about that is you finally get to really realize kind of what these characters have meant for the story. What I mean by that is past Call of Duty games have been a little rough around the edges of explaining characters in a way, like Nikolai and those kind of guys. They have been, you know they're important, and you know that they hold a very big stature in the game, but you really never get that personal level. And in this game, you kind of realize who they are and what their importance is to you, and that's great because the story starts to unravel more clearly than ever. And while there are a lot of predictable moments in the single player, it really comes together as a story that brings about some really tear-jerker moments and some really action-packed moments that you expect in a game like Modern Warfare 3, and a game done by Infinity Ward. Nonetheless, the single player most runs smoothly. I mean, I did not notice very many frame rate issues. The game runs smoothly. Control scheme-wise, it's much like past Call of Duty games. Nothing's changed. Little tweaks here and there with your weapons, but it's a great ride, and I've been loving it so far. So now that we check out multiplayer, obviously this is the biggest component of the games. As we did in the last video, Battlefield 3, this is a component that everybody loves, everybody looks forward to, and what everybody expects to be the highlight of the game. What I found out to be is, or at least from my biggest judgment of playing the game, is that if you're expecting a new experience, a new take on the first-person shooter genre, especially with the Call of Duty franchise, you're not going to like it, because it is much like past Call of Duty titles, especially Modern Warfare 2, and it does take off some things from Black Ops. So if you're looking for a brand new experience, you're going to be disappointed, but don't be disappointed with the fact that the multiplayer is a very solid experience. Some of the things that Infinity Ward have addressed and Sledgehammer Games have addressed is action sequences. And what I mean by that is, in past Call of Duty games, I've noticed that you kind of run around a little bit before finding your enemy, and you're not really always in the action, which is kind of a problem with a game like Call of Duty, because it's not like Battlefield where it's all about the huge maps and the team play and you're strategizing. In this, it's an arcade run-and gun shooter, and that's what you want. So to fix that, Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer Games decided to make the maps not only smaller and less vertical, but made spawn points a little bit different. And with that, you get a lot more action. You're always in the action. You're running and gunning almost around every corner. And while that is great most of the time, there's some times where you're going to rage. And what I mean by that is there are times where you feel like you're getting trapped just by every corner, and you just really get disappointed by that. So it's really just a love-hate relationship. And while sometimes it feels like it's being unfair, the game is really just feeling balanced. And so far, I haven't really noticed any issues. Modern Warfare 2, there was the Javelin glitch, and glitches like that really plagued the opening weeks of the game. So far, everything's been running smoothly. I just noticed how there have been millions of people on, and the lobbies have been going quick, and everything's been running smoothly. And it's great to see people already ranked up in the 30s and 40s, which is crazy after just a day, not even 24 hours yet of the game being out. What I really like, though, most about multiplayer is that it takes upon a foundation that's been set, a foundation that obviously is the biggest and best foundation in first-person shooter history, and that's Call of Duty formula, and takes that and just adds new features. And while that may seem boring to some people, if you're a Call of Duty fan, if you're a first-person genre fan, you're really going to love it, because, I mean, it works. Nonetheless, it works, and they just take that and they run with it, and they add some new features here and there, and it just really polishes up the game. And while it's tough to say that it is the best multiplayer out of all the Call of Duties, it is definitely up there, and it'll be easier to make a judgment as you play and you get your hands on it to think about it. One of the biggest surprises in Modern Warfare 3, it's not really a surprise, but one of the biggest features that the guys over at Infinity Ward and Activision launched was Call of Duty Elite. Call of Duty Elite is a social app, if you want to call it an app, where gamers really get the most out of their Call of Duty experience. While some people have been comparing it to Battlelog that Battlefield 3 has, and Bungie.net, what the Halo franchise has, Call of Duty Elite is much more than that, and it must be for the price that you pay for it. I mean, you pay 4,200 Microsoft points for it, you really expect a bigger and better experience that you get with those free services. So when I look at Call of Duty Elite and I see it, I wonder, you know, how's it going to give me, a fan who really loves the genre and the franchise, how can it take me to the next level? And it does that by really giving you every little angle of your game, and it really shows your weaknesses, and in a way that I didn't think it was going to be able to do. You know, it kind of sounds silly at first, you know, heat maps, ha ha ha, you know, I'm not that big of a nerd. But yeah, I am, and it's great because it really gets you involved with the game, really gets your multiplayer experience going, and you can find your weaknesses, and you can really get to know the community by, you know, shooting your videos, publishing your videos onto YouTube, joining clans and stuff, simple stuff like that. You know, it really rounds it out. And obviously you got DLC coming earlier, tournaments, you know, double XP, certain stuff like that that'll really add to your experience. So what I expect out of Call of Duty Elite is to be bigger and better each, you know, coming months as more and more things get announced, and as DLC starts to roll out, you'll really start to really feel where your money is going. So we look back and we see Modern Warfare 3. It's obviously the biggest release this year, and I think it's obviously going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, entertainment release in history by early next year. Hopefully those numbers will come in soon, we'll see that. But it's a Call of Duty game, it's made by Activision, Infinity Ward, it's solid, it brings a well-rounded experience, and it's something that I think any fan of the genre, or especially the fans of the franchise, are going to love. It's a unique taste in itself with the single player, and the multiplayer even has its own little unique taste every year and once in a while. When people say, you know, what's better, Call of Duty or Battlefield 3, or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 or Battlefield 3, you know, it's tough to say, you know. Obviously, I think, personally, from my views, that Call of Duty really brings the single player experience as it carries in a unique story, and an exciting story. But multiplayer-wise, really, Battlefield 3 took me by surprise. I knew it was going to be a great experience, but I didn't expect it to be that great. But nonetheless, Modern Warfare 3 brings a fantastic experience that I think anybody who's a shooter fan is going to love. So, coming up next, in the next week, we have Skyrim coming out, and we'll have a first impressions video on that. And then the following week is Assassin's Creed Revelations and Saints Row the Third. So check back with this for the first impressions series, and be sure to check GameZone.com every day for your daily news, reviews, editorials, and so much more. Thanks for joining us.